Welcome to a new Smart Money video on how to prepare for a job interview over Zoom or over the phone. We are going to cover what interviewers and agents are looking for, the tone, the manner, how you are explaining your examples and relating back work, exactly what they are looking for so that you are able to craft a perfect response and start to practice and learn it in order to give you an advantage in the interview itself. The advice that you get on this video is going to help you prepare and get an advantage for these Zoom call interviews or telephone interviews. Please subscribe for more videos on personal growth, finance, investing and business. We are going to look at how to craft the right content, and then we will explore the softer areas of an interview, such as the manner, the tone, and other items of body language that you need to be aware of. So stick around for a complete 360-degree view of how to ace that interview. Let's discuss the content and how you answer questions. It is important to prepare examples. Don't just go in and think you can wing it because you've done a really good job before. Anyone who is put on the spot can get nervous and forget. So purposefully craft examples which demonstrate your skills and what you did. I'm going to give a format now on how you should craft your example, and this is preparation work, so it is done before the interview, preferably many days before the interview, so that you have a lot of opportunity to practice and practice and practice till you get it right and you can deliver it just perfectly in the interview and win over the agent or the interviewer. It's important to remember, what is an agent or an interviewer looking for when you are sharing your examples or your experience? They are looking to see how did you solve the problem, or how do you go about doing your work? Are you just lucky and winging it, or do you have set skills and experience and know-how where you have a process that you apply over and over and over? The latter is what they are looking for. Now on the content, the examples that you use in your answers, and I recommend answering by examples, by recalling specific instances of what you have done in the past which answers their question. So firstly, what? What were you doing? Who was it for? What was your role? Who else was involved and contributed? What did you learn from this? And what happened afterwards? It is important that you practice and speak your examples out loud. I'm now going to share an example of something that I could craft from very early in the days when I got started and was doing some data processing. So if I was to answer a question on data processing, like describe an example where you process data, Brad, I would answer like this. I was involved in a large global FMCG company project, and they really needed to understand price. My role was to prepare the data from multiple sources. My approach was that I used VB.NET scripts. So after the first piece of data was processed and the other data was very similar to it, I could apply it in super fast way, finish it. I was the only one working on it and solely responsible for the outcome. I really learned a lot about dealing with clients, and that's been extremely valuable for me. It was a successful project. The client then commissioned the next phase, where I ended up managing 3 people. Now, something I hope that you noticed while I was sharing that example is that I was quite confident. I wasn't umming and ahhing. I didn't suppose, maybe, I should have, I could have, I would have. I did. And it is important we use language which communicates confidence and expertise and skills. After all, they want you to come in and do something specific. So tell them you can do that job. Remember to smash that like button and show your support for the channel. We will now look at experience and the softer sides of the interview and how you can prepare for them, as well as some tips and hints are still to come on how to ace it over Zoom or over the phone. When it comes to communicating your experience, it is essential that you pick up on key phrases from the job description. So be sure to read and underline every key phrase, skill, or piece of experience that is listed, and then build those exact phrases into your examples. Now, on the day you might not quite communicate perfectly those key phrases, but because you have it built into your examples, you have a higher chance of sharing closer to the specific key phrases and therefore demonstrating that you have the skills, the ability, and the experience that is required for that specific job. Another tip or key when preparing and writing your examples is to research and understand the company and understand exactly where you will fit into the company. It is important that you know the products and services, and then as you begin to craft your examples, try and relate it back to the business that you are being interviewed for. This will make it easier for the interviewee or for the agency who is doing the screening to understand how it fits in and answers their specific business and question. When it comes to the manner or how you go about the interview, this is really important. I have done many interviews, technical, managerial, leadership, a wide variety of them. And these are things which I always look for, and I know my peers also look for. Firstly, we want to understand, is this person respectful, and are they going to fit into the team and help to build the culture we have, or are they going to be disruptive and break it down? Because if they're disruptive, it doesn't matter how good they are technically, I will never let them in the door, and nor will any sensible manager. So be respectful, honoring, speak well of your past and current company and colleagues. This gives a good impression for the people who you are interviewing with. If they ask you why you want to leave, a good answer is, I've been doing this for quite a while and I need to do something new. I'm looking to expand my skills. Make it about you and your growth. Don't make it about how bad that culture is, how poor my current manager is. What a nightmare. They can't even pay me on time. That says that you're a complainer. That says that you're going to be someone who detracts from a positive culture. You want to avoid that. Next, in terms of manner, be sure to ask questions and listen carefully. If you are on Zoom, a really good tip is to hold up your notes so they can physically see you writing as they are speaking. This will ensure that they see you are taking it seriously. Whenever someone writes something down, it's because they don't want to forget it. It's because the person who spoke just said something significant or important. It is a way to win trust and a way to help others know that what they are saying you take seriously. It also helps you in the interview because you can look back at your notes and say, there's two questions that you're asking me. The first one, and then answer. By then you probably would have forgotten what the second one is. Now you can just look back at your notes and answer. The manner and the way the interview goes, prepare yourself to be on point when answering questions. Train yourself. Start asking questions in your friends and your family and start to practice answering their questions. Not answering what you think they want to hear or what you think they asked. Actually answer the question. One of the biggest reasons why myself and a number of my peers who are directors and partners don't hire people is because they don't answer the question. It is vital you answer the question. Next, agents and interviewers will be looking at your aptitude. What are the predispositions that you have towards certain things? Every company today is in desperate need of people who are client and sales aware. So demonstrate that. But if you're applying for a technical role, don't demonstrate it so hard that they think you're applying for the wrong role. Rather let them know that you're aware of commercial consequences and that how vital sales are. It is also important to convey a message of continuous learning so that the interviewer knows this person is serious about growth. If they join my organization, they will grow, my organization will grow. And lastly, on aptitude, do they have the technical ability or creative ability that is needed for this job? You need to demonstrate and exude this as you are speaking and as you are communicating. Be consciously thinking, how can I help them understand what I am excellent at and how the things I'm excellent are going to transform their business. We're going to look at questions now that you should ask, and then we're going to round up with some really helpful hints and tips that will help you ace it over Zoom and the telephone. Please remember to smash that like button. Now for questions, you need to be thinking, what can I ask them that is going to add value? Firstly, people like to answer about themselves, so you will win trust and you will win some respect and equity, so to speak. So ask the person, what do they do? How would they fit into it? And find out about them. So if they haven't introduced themselves properly, or if you don't understand what they do, ask that question. Another good question to ask is, what are my day-to-day responsibilities and who would I be interacting with? This shows that you are trying to understand the job, that you're trying to understand what is required. Another good question is to simply say, what would be required of me? Is there a sales target? Is there a productivity target? Is there a goal for utilization? These are all very important questions which show you're trying to get into the detail of the job and understand, am I right for this job? Does this work for me? It helps the interviewer know, oh wow, they actually want this job. They're starting to get their mind into what it is about. I hope this has given you some ideas on how to prepare to successfully do that interview over Zoom or the telephone. We are now going to look at some hints and tips for Zoom and the telephone. Number one, your body language is really important. So over Zoom or video conference, let people see your hands like I've been doing this whole time. I've tried to hold my hands up because if people can see your hands, they can trust you. It's a strange subconscious thing. So on Zoom, make sure how you frame yourself. Look at your background. Make sure there's nothing too busy going on. And think to yourself, if I saw this in the background, would it make sense? Remember, when you go to an interview, you dress tidy, and surely you will dress tidy and appropriately for the way the person can see you. However, with Zoom, you're inviting them into your house, so dress your house and your background tidily as well. If you have notes, be sure that your notes are at camera level. Don't make them too high so that you're looking up to the left or to the right. It invokes a sense of creativity and imagination when someone looks at that, but they might think you're making up the answers instead of actually telling the truth. The other thing is, don't let your notes be below, which is a very natural place to have them, because when we look down, and you can try it yourself, there is a feeling of doubt or deception. So ideally you want to have your notes up, and it's okay to hold them up and then look at them like this and then look back at the person. Let them see what you're doing. That way they won't think you're distracted or looking at anything else, and they will know you're looking at your notes. You can even say, I'm just going to check my notes because I actually wrote this down. When it comes to Zoom and the telephone, you don't have the advantage of being there in person. So you need to make sure that you have a little extra energy and a little extra oomph. Now, don't go over the top and totally crazy, but certainly be on your best form. Be the most excitable you can be in a sensible and professional way. You don't want to be drab. You don't want your shoulders to sink down. You don't want to be talking down to yourself. You want to be up and you want to speak out and be really open and communicating and engaging, and almost try to engage with the camera. Visualize the person standing there and you speaking to that person. The irritating thing with most computers is that the camera is not where the person's face is. So you might actually have to forego looking at them on the screen to actually look at them in the eye. Another tip is that you should warm up your voice. Some very simple examples of warming up your voice can be like this. That helps to get your lips going so you don't get tongue-tied, so to speak. Another useful one, ba 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 baram, ba 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 baram. Change the tones. It causes your vocal cords to resonate at different frequencies. Warm them up. Do that for 2 or 3 minutes so that when you're on the call, you're fresh. The worst thing you can do in an interview is take that ice cold glass of water that is offered. So in person, avoid that. When you are at home, don't do it. Don't have that glass of water just before the Zoom call or the telephone call, because you're going to cool your vocal cords down and it just loses a little bit of an edge that you could have had. Now I'm linking a video to Success Habits for Millionaires, which is a very good follow-on around goals and preparation, and ultimately a way to approach your life in order to increase success. So check that out. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone, because together we can create an abundance.